Practice out there.
I thought it was physical. That much was pretty obvious on both sides of the ball. I thought there was some physicality. I think you're seeing different defensive structure, different offensive systems. It's great for our guys to just get that good work in. I'll have to watch the tape to see exactly what occurred, but solid work.
Did you feel like your team got enough work in out there?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we were, they've had multiple joints already. We had none. So to be able to come out and compete against somebody else in general is great. So I do think that it was good quality work for us. Could we have been able to go more just because we're not sure what we're going to do with this next game? Yeah, probably, but it's good to come out of it healthy as well.
How do you weigh what you see out here compared to what you've seen just when it's your team versus your guys?
Yeah, I think you're out of a different comfort zone when you're against somebody else, right? In a different arena, seeing different things. And so maybe things that maybe can get let go in practice when you're just going against each other, well, it's not going to fly. Somebody else is going to probably take advantage of it. So, that was something, a couple good learning lessons for us in the red zone on both sides of the ball. So it was good.
And Liam, I know you were hoping Travis to go out today. Something happened there, or how's he doing?
No, it was just more like, do we want him now or potentially not in, Carolina? Like, it was more just being smart about, the next few weeks, because the ultimate goal is Carolina. So that's the thing that's at top of mind right now. And for him, could he have probably gone? I think so. Like, if this was Carolina, would he have probably played? Yeah. So we're moving in the right direction.
Does the same kind of apply for Tyson?
Yeah, similar type deal. Like, both those guys practiced yesterday in red jerseys, or Travis didn't do as much, but they could have gone. It's just a matter of, like, it's not the time.
And then obviously every day in training camp is competitive, but seeing it here against another team, do you see the competitiveness and the compete kind of go up a little bit?
Yeah, you see 7 a little bit differently in ways, right? Which is something we've obviously been told and have seen as well in different points during camp. But you can definitely see his uptick change a bit, which was nice to see. But it was good. It was good quality work. I was pleased with the effort in the way that they went about it. They took this thing seriously and tried to have a lot of pride in what they did.
And your first joint practice as a head coach, was it important for you just to get one in this year and just see how you want to kind of do it moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we had a schedule planned, and then that schedule got changed. So you have to be able to navigate all these things. And when you get, we went against them last year in joint in Tampa, so I kind of knew what it was going to be in a lot of ways. So it's a good learning experience, because it's like, all right, do you want to set them up earlier more and not play them in the preseason games, or do you want to do something later? It'll help us navigate this moving forward.
You talked about him some early in the week, but is it important to get Mason and Eric back this week in terms of projecting them for the open?
Absolutely. You felt them yesterday as well in practice. Now, we weren't in a padded deal. We had the spiders on, but you definitely felt them a little bit more. You felt our size inside a little bit more yesterday. I got to go watch the tape. I didn't see a ton of the defense, but I think we stopped the run fairly well from what I understand. So it's nice to have those guys back in. They're long, big, physical dudes, and we know what they can, what Eric can do in a lot of ways, even though we haven't seen it. But Mason, man, he's a second-year player and needs as many reps as possible. So this is great work for him.
What specific challenges did the Dolphins defense present to you that you were so happy to witness firsthand, them having to face themselves?
Yeah, so they do a nice job with man alignments and playing zone, and zone alignments and playing man. So you can displace the tight end or the running back, and they'll actually, we call mask coverage, where they're showing you one thing and on the snap of the ball changes. And so that is really good experience for us to be able to get that, because there are a lot of teams that do it. They've just done it. They did it well today, and it confused us a few times in the red zone. Not just the quarterback, but the routes and kind of how those things end up playing out when you think you're getting one coverage on the snap of the ball, and then it changes.
Is that what happened with Parker? He had a target. It was a deep ball down
the one in the 2-minute just now? Yeah, so they were showing man coverage is exactly what it was.
And then they flipped it to
they flipped it to a cover 2. Really, I think it was cover 8, which we call quarter half to the field or to the nickel side. And the weak safety didn't push enough We had them down the pipe. We just got to throw and catch. But
Right.
you know, those are the ones that for him to see, for Trevor to see those, it's great experience before we actually get going into the
Sure.
season.
They're
So
learning
yeah,
now.
I want to hit it. I want to hit it today more than anything.
Right.
But now we can look at it, learn from it, and then apply it into the next setting.
I was going to ask you about your running backs. Tootin looked great today. Where are you at in shaping how that backfield committee is going to work?
Yeah, we're still right in the thick of it, honestly. I mean, I think that we've seen great things from all four of those guys, really. Knowing that it's going to be darn near impossible to have four with a jersey on game day. That's the challenge that we have to work through over the next few weeks. You know, Tootin, he did. I thought he had a better day than he did yesterday at practice. He stepped it up a little bit better today. You know, 1 and 4 got some quality work, but they've continued to kind of do the right thing for us. And then Quint, man, in pass protection continues to do a nice job. So we've got some work to do over the next few weeks here before Carolina to figure out who's going to get a jersey. And special teams has a lot to do with that as well.
Sure. And is there anything you can take away from what happened with your backfield last year that you can apply to how you figure it's shaking out this year?
It's hard to keep a lot of them happy, but if they understand that injuries are going to occur, things are going to happen. And what we learned last year in Tampa was you need 3. Like, you need 3 good ones that you can feel like can go and step in and your offense doesn't change. That is kind of what we were trying to do with, you know, acquiring those 2 in the draft, was make sure that we have a stable. Is it sometimes hard to keep them all happy? Sure, but I'd rather have more than less.
Liam, when you see Brian raise his game in a setting like this, and one of the few examples of it so far, how unusual is that? Because we've seen the other way. Obviously, guys play well in the practice field and not play well in those games. But is it an unusual trait that you've seen as a coach?
It is a little. You would absolutely prefer that than, shoot, you see so many, whether it's quarterbacks or any position, look great in practice, or an ROA, and it's great. And then when the bullets start flying, they can't play the game. So you would much prefer that. My only challenge to him is, and it has been, is, well, think about what, if you can become a dominant player in practice, what will that actually do to your game? Knowing that, shoot, you're not surprising anybody this year. They're all going to know who you are. You're going to see different defensive structures and coverages and doubles. And for you to be able to dominate every single day you walk on the grass, regardless of who it's against, you will get better. And he needs to continue to get better if he wants to go where he wants to go.
Well, yeah, Mike said he's going to play some of his starters. He doesn't say how long. What's your plan?
Yeah, we are not going to play our starters. You know, we got them the 2 weeks of work in the first 2 games. You know, in an ideal world, looking back, like if you had the joints earlier on, you wouldn't play them, maybe a series in the third, and that's what we did in Tampa last year, and I liked it. But you know, it'll be a lot of young guys getting some quality work, and there's a lot of guys that we got to that are going to play, that are fighting for a roster spot, or fighting for a roster spot potentially on somebody else's team. And so this is valuable tape, great challenge that some of them are going to obviously go up against. We're all going to go up against, and but it's a good opportunity for those guys as well.
Couple more.
In a lot of ways, is the hay kind of in the barn in terms of who you're envisioning for the 53 other guys you have right now?
I think, you know, the guys that are on our team, I think there's there's clarity.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely I would assume there's probably going to be some players on other people's rosters that will be on our roster. I mean, that's the reality of this thing. So, you know, at multiple positions, we have guys that are either on the border or, hey, man, we're going to have to go and look elsewhere when the time comes. And that's just the reality of this time that we're in, this phase. But there are some guys that are going to be playing this weekend that are fighting for roster spots.
Brian Thomas, 2 ways he helps you win. Number one, obvious, the speed and everything else that gives you the receiver. But also his ability to draw double coverage and get other guys open underneath.
Yeah.
How do you weigh those 2 things when it comes to the whole passing game?
Yeah, that was something that we saw in LA with Cooper a lot, was you can kind of dictate some things knowing that, you know, maybe what their answer will be. And then last year with Mike Evans, that was so much of our red zone game plan was based on him. It was like, all right, put him over there as 3-by-1. If they double him, we should have numbers to the front side, or run it. If they single him, well, the ball needs to go there. And that was a lot of kind of what we tried to do, whether it was red zone, third down, whatever it is. So it's a challenge for him. It's a challenge for us as coaches to be able to okay, he is getting doubled, we need to move him so that he doesn't get a double, or let's use him as a decoy here to get somebody else a matchup that may be favorable for us.